up?
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Weekly Top 5's from Library Chess Productions. And this time around, it's the worst of the worst.
No.
The 5 worst movies of all time. All right, I'm going to get us started this time with my number 5 worst movie of all time. And I'm using this movie to represent the studio, which I believe is the most hack, almost reprehensible studio just for what they stand for. And that is the Asylum. And I'm going to use 2012 Ice Age as my number 5 worst of all time. And yes, I believe the Asylum studio is the one that's responsible for like Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus garbage that had come out mostly in the early aughts, but I believe they're still
appeal
kicking.
to some of those types of movies. I don't know about...
Yeah, there is. I get it, and I get... Like, they're reprehensible to me because of their business strategy. Like, the business strategy is almost no original ideas besides Sharknado. Sharknado's the only original idea they've ever had, and it's been the one that's made them the most money. But it's no original idea, just mockbuster anything big that is coming out. Spend $2 million to make it, and we'll make 7. And that's the whole business strategy. And I'm like, I'm not saying it's not smart, because it works. And that's how they make money. And of course, then they had Sharknado, which made bucket loads of money. 2012 Ice Age, a mockbuster of The Day After Tomorrow and the movie 2012. And it's just, their movies are just so, like, they look like we filmed them. Like, they're just, the movies are bad. Like, everything about them is bad, and it's intentionally bad, I get that. It's not like they're trying to make good movies. They're not. They're trying to make mockbusters. So, I guess if you judge movies by what they're trying to be, which is what Roger Ebert said, I believe, then I guess they're doing their job, but their job is, whatever. They look like they were, the visual effects and the graphics look like they were done in Microsoft Paint, and they always have, and they always will, because why spend a lot of money on it when all you're trying to hit is like $10 million? And so 2012 Ice Age is my number 5.
I almost always avoid mockbusters. I don't care, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't know every movie they've ever done, but I'm sure there's some interesting movies in there that aren't mockbusters. I don't know everything they've done, but that's all I gotta say. I've never seen this one, and I never will. Okay, before I get to my number 5, just a quick note. I didn't include any short films on this because there's some terrible short films that I could have included, but I didn't. Movies that are much worse than any of these movies. So, whatever. So, my number 5 is Fighting.
Sorry.
I almost chose Saw 4 because it made me just be like, nope, and like outright leave the series.
Wow,
I was like, enough of this. I'm done. But 2 reasons I chose Fighting. We saw it together, so we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, and this is the main point here, it's just a garbage movie in all way, but the main point I want to harp on is that it made us call Channing Tatum Mumbles.
Yeah.
It dug him this hole that I didn't think, and I don't think you thought he was going to ever dig himself out of. No. But I really like Channing Tatum now.
Yeah, me too.
But there was a point where we just called him Mumbles, not in a good way, because he was so terrible, and this movie was so terrible. He's a charming guy.
Right.
And yet this movie doesn't show that at all. And this was one of his, I don't know if it was his earlier movie, because I don't know when he started. But it was early on. But Fighting almost completely killed Channing Tatum for me.
Yeah.
And that would have been terrible, because I look, oh cool, Channing Tatum's in this, especially if it's like a comedy or something. I'm in.
And the one thing that they did with Channing Tatum that allowed him to save his career is allow him to speak.
Yeah.
Tyler, do you remember the Blair Witch Project?
Yes, fondly.
Do you remember how good the Blair Witch Project was?
Yes, fondly.
Do you remember how terrible that sequel was? It's Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Which I guess you can call it a sequel, but I'm being very liberal with the term sequel. It doesn't have anything to do really with the Blair Witch. I feel like the people that wrote this movie wrote a bad horror movie, and they were like, how can we throw money at this problem to try to make this movie profitable? I know, let's buy the Blair Witch license. So the whole premise of the movie is like, because the Blair Witch project blew up so much, all of these people are visiting this town that is like dedicated to the Blair Witch. And I don't know if the movie's trying to be meta in this way. I guess it is. So you have this group of unlikable characters who are all just like, okay, let everybody be one note. Don't you dare be two notes. You are a one-note character.
Acting.
What's acting? You have the Wiccan. You have the hippie child. You have the pot smoker. You have the handsome one. That's it. They do what everybody else is trying to do. Like, I'm gonna go out in the woods and I'm gonna experience the Blair Witch for myself, and nothing right could possibly happen here. At one point, the girls are just naked and dancing around because reasons. Why not? Because Blair Witch is a pervert, I guess, and wanted to get them naked. The soundtrack is the only thing about the movie that even comes relatively close, because the soundtrack has System of a Down on it. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, like, I've never seen it, but isn't that soundtrack a lot of like new metal?
Yeah, it is, and the soundtrack's actually listenable. I mean, the story's garbage, the performances are terrible. It's shot like they had like one day with a crane. So all of their crane shots are all in the same place, whether it makes sense or not. It's, oh my god, to think that like how good the Blair Witch was and how culturally significant that movie was when it came out, to then follow it up with this garbage thing that doesn't have anything to do with it really. But Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2 is my number 4.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I got nothing more to add.
Good. I'm glad you didn't see it. I would never want to wish a friend pain like that.
Alright, my number 4 is The Core, which I believe we watched together years ago.
I think we did, because wasn't this the one where the vines come up?
This is the one that's Armageddon, but they went down. It's just so boring, right. And there's nothing going on. I was so uninterested, and like, I don't like Armageddon either, but at least it had Aerosmith.
It's true. I don't want to miss a thing. Copyright somebody else.
This didn't even have that. Like, maybe the movie would have been better if they would have had that.
Oh yeah, this is where they go down and have to like restart the Earth's core.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, this was bad. This was not good.
I mean, fortunately, I have forgotten almost everything about this movie, so it no longer takes up space in my brain, so I can put other stuff in there.
Oh, sorry. You can put more Tarkovsky movies in there.
Put more Tarkovsky movies in there.
And less of The Core.
Yeah. So that's my number 4, The Core. The Bore. Just thought that one up right then and there. Genius.
Point for Tyler. My number 3 worst movie of all time, I'm sure I'm going to employ the F word again, and it's going to be actually pretty short. My number 3 worst of all time is Super Size Me from 2004, and my only line is, everyone is going to gain that kind of weight if you eat 9 Big Macs a day, you fucking hack Morgan Spurlock. So that's my number 3 worst movie of all time, because that's all I have to say about it.
Here's what I'm going to add. This could possibly be my number 1 if I had seen it, but I refuse to watch it because the premise is so stupid. No shit. Yeah. You would be unhealthy if you ate McDonald's 3 times a day.
Yeah. And again, the meals, and he would eat these meals, and they'd be like, yeah, can I have like 2 Big Macs and 2 large fries?
Like, maybe it's different. Like, I mean, I still wouldn't recommend McDonald's 3 times a day, but maybe it's different if you go in the morning and get a coffee and a muffin,
right?
And then get like some fries or something, and then maybe a burger at night.
But that's what qualified as expose in 2004.
So dreadful.
The best thing that you could say about that movie is that it's hyperbolic to another level.
Yeah, this is one of the few movies that I haven't seen, and I have so much hatred for that I can actually have this conversation. Because it's one of the few movies I refuse. I've watched an elephant get electrocuted, mind you, just because it was an old movie, and I was like, oh, what was going on in the late 1800s?
And it turns out bad
things. So that's the only reason I watched it. But I watched that, and I refuse to watch Super Size Me because... Why? Why would he... Like, it's bad that we're even giving him time now. Right, I don't want to give him any brain time, but now I have, so thanks a lot. My number 3, this is also going to be a short one. The Hot Chick. I remember nothing of this. I looked at my Critica review, and this is what it was. Why the fuck does Rob Schneider even try? That's it.
That's it.
Next.
Actually, once again, I was thinking of a completely different movie because I thought you were talking about that movie where the Wayans brothers were white women. But that's White Chicks.
Chick. I think I might have also seen that when I was with my ex. I think that's the only reason. Wait. Actually, I don't know what year Hot Chicks there.
So many chicks.
So many chicks. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I mean, Rob Schneider in general.
Schneider's a hack.
Yeah, he's a hack.
And was certainly a hack during this time.
Has he ever not been a hack? I mean, I'm sure there's a role or two that he was not dreadful, but
yeah.
I'm having a hard time thinking of anything that I can defend him with. Because even a guy I don't like Adam Sandler, his comedy, but I'll still defend some of his dramatic roles and even some of his earlier comedy movies.
Yeah.
But Schneider, I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
My number 2 worst movie of all time reintroduces me to my good friend Sacha Baron Cohen, otherwise known as the European Will Ferrell. And this is The Brothers Grimsby, which, if you don't know, is a story about these two brothers, one played by Sacha Baron Cohen and the other one, I forgot the guy's name, a decent actor who's not a hack. And so the one brother is like a secret agent, basically, and the other brother is a soccer hooligan moron who guess which one is which. And it's everything that is terrible about Sacha Baron Cohen. I feel like he sits down and his thought process is like, was this funny on South Park in 1998? And if it was, I'm gonna do it. Or, this was funny in Ace Ventura, so I'm gonna do it. I struggle to think of a bigger hack in Hollywood than Sacha Baron Cohen. And I like Ali G. There's
Borat?
And Borat.
Borat was quite good.
Yeah, and so he's like Will Ferrell. He's had his moments. He's had stuff that he's done that's like, okay, this is not terrible. The first frames of Brothers Grimsby, all the way up to the climactic moment in the movie, which is the only way to save this soccer stadium is to shove the nuke up my ass. At that point, he might as well have just taken the audience and shoved them up his ass, because that's what he's doing with every second that he's on screen. The Brothers Grimsby, the second worst movie of all time. Oh, he also went into an elephant's vagina. Because then you get the 5 to 10 to 40 minutes of elephant dick and cum jokes just happening on screen. Like, if your biggest desire sitting in a movie theater is to see Sacha Baron Cohen take a 40-minute elephant bukkake, then this movie's for you.
I mean, I'm
because that's what happened.
All right, my number 2 is I Am Virgin, and that's not my life story.
Are you sure?
No. All right, do you remember back in the day, I don't think they still make movies, so maybe there was that Seltzer-Friedberg parody combo. They were making the really crappy parodies. Now I'm blanking on I think they made Epic Movie.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember which ones they made.
Right.
But they were churning out these turds constantly, right?
Yeah.
So I watched this movie, which actually, to get a little emotional, was, I think, my least favorite movie in our first ever movie awards that we did. I think this was my least favorite movie of the year that year, so it's emotional because it's us,
Shout out to the movie awards.
I expected watching this maybe a Seltzer-Friedberg level parody,
right?
Which is really setting the standards low. But I didn't even get that. But this movie is good if you want a little soft porn in your parody, or soft core rather, because I would say about 30 minutes of it is softcore porn, so I guess that's that going for it. But it has jokes like, "No way, Jose," in it, and that's as bad as it sounds.
Did WWE write it? Because there's a character in WWE called No Way Jose.
Jesus, a bad parody is...
it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Like, vampires suck.
Yeah.
Like, it's Twilight. How can you not spoof Twilight?
Yeah, people...
It's the easiest thing in the world.
They throw in these lazy-ass jokes.
Yeah.
And it just don't work. And it kind of makes you miss, like, almost the older days of parodies. Like Airplane, Naked Gun, and hell, even, like, First Scary Movie. And yeah, so that's my number 2. I Am Virgin, the Tyler life story.
And then it's the same kind of thought process behind the people that are like, the 40-year-old virgin who knocked up Sarah Marshall and felt super bad about it. It's like, I get it. Like, I get, like... Okay.
Why are you making parodies of comedies?
Right. That's a great question. Like, a comedy movie, it's already a comedy movie. Why are you trying to make a comedy out of a
Another good parody, don't be a menace to society while drinking your juice in the...
Yeah.
Something.
Yep.
That's another good one. It's a good parody.
Right, exactly. My number 1 worst movie of all time is not going to come as any surprise to anybody, so I'm going to waste very little time on it. It is Shudder, and the moral of the story is gang raping your Japanese girlfriend because she's too clingy. Yeah! Tyler got my pen back for me. Gang raping your Japanese girlfriend because she's too clingy, and filming it, and getting your buddies to be a part of it too. Is wrong because she might kill herself and then come back and haunt you and your new, like, blonde white girl wife after you move back to Japan. Why would you move back to Japan after you just did that thing?
Yeah.
I would want to stay as far away from Japan.
I'm Roman Polanskiing this shit and moving as far away as possible.
Like, I would be seeking asylum with some government, but no, I'm going to move back to Japan with my beautiful blonde white wife.
Yeah.
And completely ignore the fact that I used to have a Japanese girlfriend that I had my friends and I gang rape and film. That's the moral of the movie, is don't gang rape your Japanese girlfriend. And I have 2 things to say about that. Number 1, you can't tell me what to do. But number 2, that's not a moral that I need. Like, there's some things that I think intrinsically you just know. Did this ruin Joshua Jackson's career? Has he done anything since that? I don't know. I don't think I've seen him in anything. I know he's done things, but like, holy crap. Like, how did anyone think that was a good idea? So, that Shudder's my number 1.
I mean, for people who may just be joining us in our rating scales for our movies, This Is Just Shudder is our worst rating,
exactly.
I guess, that we
this
can
is
give it.
just
And this
Shudder.
is why. Now, Shudder's not on my list, but I also hate Shudder.
Right.
Shudder's a turd. It's such a turd. And we saw it together.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing about Shudder, though, that's kind of only interesting to me. It has a distinction, and I don't think any other movie has accomplished this. It has a distinction. The director has done one of the worst movies I've ever seen, Shudder, but also one of the better movies I've ever seen, an underrated movie called Parasite Eve. He went for Parasite Eve, which I know I'm alone in thinking it's such a great movie, but it was not hated at all to the level of Shudder by any means.
Right.
And it was a good science fiction movie. And then years later, he made Shudder, and it kind of has that distinction of, it's kind of...
Have we ever seen that kind of fall from grace?
Yeah, like, I've never seen, like, I guess he got lucky with Parasite Eve, but yeah, so Shudder, I don't know what else I can add to that.
It makes me physically sick. Like, I kind of want to go throw up that I even talked about it. So now we're going to see if Tyler can top that.
Mine's a different approach.
Okay.
I don't actually know that this would necessarily be my least favorite had I seen it today, but I would still hate it. And here's why. My number 1 is The Anarchist Cookbook. Now, when I saw this, and this is going by Criticker, my ratings, obviously, and I rated it the lowest. When I saw it, I was more of an anarchist. I mean, I still believe in it and stuff, but I was more militant. And one of my pet peeves back then more so was hearing anarchy used in the sense of chaos, and because it just misrepresents the whole philosophy, right? So when I would get a movie that would misrepresent it entirely, in a sense, The Anarchist Cookbook, based, kind of on the book that doesn't even work, And the movie doesn't work. And I'll just throw this out. The movie sucks on all levels. Characters are crap, plot is crap, everything sucks. But my main problem with it is that it wants to be about anarchism, but it doesn't even understand the political belief. So you got this whole movie misrepresenting something that is misrepresented enough in the media. And at the time, when I saw it, like I said, I was more militant of my anarchist beliefs, and it really bothered me when I would see people shitting on it when they don't even know what it is. So I sat through an entire movie of it. Like, maybe today I wouldn't hate it quite as much. I'd still hate it. I'd be like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
But back then, going by my ratings, that is why I hate this movie so much, because it's so shit at everything it does. It doesn't even get its core beliefs right. Like, people are like, this is anarchism. No, it isn't.
Right.
It isn't. So, it's kind of one of those things. I hate the anarchist cookbook, and it's really the only choice on here that I hate on, like, a philosophical ideology. Oh, I can't pronounce that.
Ideological?
Yeah. I can never pronounce that word, but I hate it on that level. And I don't normally hate movies on that level, because, like, I can watch or watch a movie, listen to a band with beliefs that I don't believe in, and, like I like first wave black metal, and they were all racist, and because an artist just has to represent their own beliefs, and so but this, I just couldn't bring myself to even accept that. Like, no, you screwed it up so bad. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
I hope I got my point across.
No, absolutely. No, that makes... And like I say, I kind of said at the beginning, I was like, I kind of should have saw that coming. All right, folks, that's going to do it for another weekly Top 5. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us down here, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.